I'm fascinated with this idea of watching Jerry use his knowledge and his wits and his smarts to figure out a really creative way to make money. So I've got to ask, what do you think Walter White would think of Jerry and his plan? Do you think the lottery scheme could have saved him some trouble down the road?
Where we're going, we don't need roads.
Guys, seriously, it's an absolute honor. Thank you for taking the time to chat with me. I'm going to go ahead and jump into this. What's funny is I feel like the idea of winning the lottery isn't something that's always a literal thing, because I honestly truly feel like I've won the lottery every day by getting to do this job because I love film. In your career, what was the first moment, maybe on a set or when you landed a role, where you truly felt like you had won the lottery?
You know, I think just being an actor and deciding to become an actor is a very risky thing to do. But I truly believe that no successful person in this business, whether you're actor, writer, director, can have success without lucky breaks and to recognize the good fortune that comes your way. And there are so many, and they are sprinkled throughout a career, that you meet certain people or you're in the right place at the right time. You turn down a film and you go, I don't know if I should do it. And just then the film you should be doing comes to you, and it's like, wow, just have faith and let that guide you.
For sure. Miss Spinning, what about you?
I think when the first thing that came to mind, I mean, I can think of a lot of things, but the first thing that came to mind was when I got my equity card and I was in a repertory company of actors doing plays, doing classical plays, mostly classical plays, or, not new plays. Anyway, and that for me was my dream. I wanted to be on the stage. I wanted to be in a company. And I still feel so grateful that I got to have that experience. It's wonderful not to always be carrying a play, but sometimes maybe you have more to do, and then on some nights you have a supporting role, and it's a wonderful mixture, because otherwise you can get kind of overwhelmed or burned out, or Bryan's done long runs of plays that are 8 shows a week. That's tough to make it fresh. Yeah. It's an honor, but it's also demanding. So anyway, I guess I would say that.
But you're right, and that 30 years ago this year is when I got my equity card.
Oh, really?
And to go, wow, someone says you are of that ilk to be able to be paid.
And if somebody asks you what you do, you can say, I'm an actor.
I'm an actor.
You're right.
And you're waiting on that moment at the SAG Awards where you get to do the thing at the beginning of the SAG Awards where you get to look into the camera. That's great. Mr. Cranston, I'm fascinated with this idea of watching Jerry use his knowledge and his wits and his smarts to figure out a really creative way to make money. So I've got to ask, what do you think Walter White would think of Jerry and his plan? Do you think the lottery scheme could have saved him some trouble down the road?
It's a scheme for sure. Walter White's expertise was in chemistry, and so he went that way. But I'll tell you that if he was a mathematician, I think he would have figured out a way to scheme the gambling scenario, or if there was a lottery thing present for him, he would have used his skills in that way.
Breaking Bad just would have been a completely different show, would have gone a completely different direction. There's a really great line in this film, the more you bet, the better the odds. And I'm really curious as to if that's applicable to the world of acting. Like, what is the most you feel like you ever gambled on a performance, like just jumped head first into the deep end of a role? And does doing that increase your odds of the performance actually working and paying off?
Well, we should also point out that it's on the particular roll down in the lottery that this applies, and that's what Jerry figured out. You have to bet a lot, but if you bet a lot, the odds become better and better. Am I saying that right?
That's true.
Okay, so yes. I think it's a general principle, and certainly creatively, the more you put into something, the more that comes back. But I think there is such a thing as working too hard, and I speak as someone who maybe sometimes does that. So, finding that right balance about how to work effectively, and then also, have your life. When you go home at night, no matter what you're doing in the day or who you're with or how impressive the circumstances are, you still have to deal with who you are, yourself, your relationships, and all of that. So in our business, I think that can trip us up because it's a very heady, environment.
And,
right?
and some actors are actually more comfortable in character and continuing to work than they are in their own personal life at home, and it's off balance. You can't work too much. You have to balance it out so that you have longevity in your life in that way.
I love that. Well, it's a lesson, I think, for all of us. Ms. Benning, Mr. Cranston, seriously, it's an absolute honor to speak with. I truly do feel like I've won the lottery by getting to talk to people who I consider to be my heroes. So it means the world to me. I know you have a busy day, sir. Thank you. And my parents were in town this weekend, and we all got to sit down and watch this together.
Good.
And everyone, it was fantastic. And I thank you for giving me that. I appreciate you.
Thank you. That's one of the reasons I did it, is because I wanted I wanted to do a movie that my parents would really love. They're in their 90s.
I couldn't tell you the last time we all sat together and watched it, so it was really great.
That's great.
Thank you.
Glad to hear that.
Love you guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Where we're going, we don't need roads.